trying to fix all my stuff. I am, because all this, moving around and all this extra activity with that sort of thing, it gets in the way of the flow of stuff. See, I had the paper clip between my lips and all that. I can barely hear myself as well, but let's make do with this sort of thing. My braids are finally done. Hey, hallelujah on that one, huh? So, like, subscribe, ID in the Discovery channel. Yes, ID in the Discovery channel. The links are provided below. Get that Discovery Go app as well as that ID Go app. You might want to get those two and combine them together. Yes. Like Lucy in Love, and I don't mean Lucille, but Lucille Ball. Shouts out to my granny. My granny. My dad used to call my granny Lucy. That's the joke, right? But yes, Whitney Houston, pertaining to her being, I had to in fact tap in to the afterlife. Yes, to channel an interview with even Whitney, despite her not even sitting here. That's going to make a few people mad that's possibly watching me, because based upon various beliefs as in what you're going to believe in or what you want to believe in pertaining to, I was going to say rituals and rites. Rituals and rites, not that sort of thing, but various religions and as in what people believe in pertaining to what I was speaking on, the channeling in the afterlife, right? That was in fact a joke. But shouts out to Psychic Bill Phillips with that sort of thing. He in fact does that, but not everybody prays with that. Tapping into the other side, such as the afterlife. And dead celebrities being gone with that. I don't do that. I don't practice that. That was just a joke. So yes, in relation to Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston, and this video is in fact pertaining to sexuality awareness. So for those that kind of like disagree with this sort of thing, to have a different take on life is to say what you feel and be recognized, and even that as I don't need to be pertaining to even my own sexuality, and yet some people feel that they do need to whatever, right? Straight folks, to be exact. Sometimes they feel shameful to be surrounded by people such as us, the queer folks and all the rest, right? Whitney Houston, in relation to, I stated that, matter of fact, yes, I usually out stuff before stuff in fact make its way out, and yet I outed certain things even pertaining to Whitney even before Discovery, yes, made its way and appear in my own life, right? I did, pertaining to people, in fact, know people in the industry, and even those sort of things you might, in fact, not want to take the chance and out, and yet when there's shame and stuff there pertaining to individuals and them not being able to be themselves, is to say, well, why not? I, in fact, yes, spoke even online about that sort of situation, even of Whitney Houston, where even that needed to be said even before it hit mass media. That's just my take on life. Because I'm one of those individuals where I have in fact been both shamed and shunned for being what I am. It helps to be and accept, as well as if you don't want to, then off, be gone with that sort of thing. But for me to be the individual I am and set the pace in my own life, is to say I'm not going to be fixing and changing things. There's various individuals, faces up above, that practice various things in which people don't agree with, and even Whitney Houston herself. Yes, shouts out to Pat Houston, to be exact. You never know who people know. As in secretly, the signs are telling even on my own end. So yeah, this video in fact is more of a, instead of me speaking directly, going to the heart of the matter in relation to me telling, yes, what journalism said on top, right? This in fact is a chill session, because even these type of people, Whitney Houston and all the rest, these type of people is my type of people. The crazy, wild, and free, right? Hollywood stylized type of stuff. But the sexuality, I can sit on this camera and talk for months and days on end pertaining to that, as in when you're disowned and you're made to feel alienated, and oftentimes by your own kind, black folks being that, specifically the black church, having suicidal tendencies with that sort of thing. That could in fact be why Whitney Houston is dead, and more not being said in relation to that, just movies and all the rest. That's interesting, and me speaking on that before hit yes, before it hit mass media. That is so odd. I think because I was taken aback, taken aback for even taken back pertaining to her being so beautiful, pretty, and fly, and the world loving her, and yet various individuals not. The disowning process of that sort of thing. And then you got mass marketing in relation to that, setting it up, Clive Davis in relation to Arista Records and all that. You have to be branded a certain way for acceptance purposes, as in where you're going to meet a globe. Dear Whitney Houston, that was in fact one of my very first crushes, let me tell you, despite who gets mad at me saying it. When I was asked, well, what is taking so long for you to even make a video in relation to her? Because people have various reasons of why they wait so long. Because even when she died, I was heartbroken over the simple fact of that sort of thing in relation to the acceptance. Because to say, well, why is somebody dead? You know why. There's no particular reason. I've been known to go off even in my day and age, and I ain't even famous, right? And you're knowing why people are dead. What if that sort of thing was able to, be lived out, as in worked out, in relation to mass corporations, even mass media, of you being signed to a major record label and that sort of thing, say not be offensive to the masses of society, as even even acceptance needing to be gained despite people being different and then wanting to shun you. I'm saying it don't hurt you. For individuals, it didn't hurt anybody pertaining to Whitney Houston, even if her mother sensed or felt anything, family members, her being what she was. She wasn't hurting any of y'all. That's so interesting. Because I had to deal with that. I like the personalized stuff, personalization with that sort of thing. The term when you personalize somebody's story and make it even more real by setting yourself on top, where two people blend together, with even that sort of thing. When I mentioned Faith Evans, because even Faith Evans was one of Whitney's close friends. There's people that talk to undisclosed. That is so real. I'm with BMI. Faith Evans with BMI. Hell, Janet Jackson is with BMI. Michael Jackson was with BMI. Got a lot of individuals that are, in fact, and was with BMI. With Whitney, though, that was a whole different ordeal. It just, this is in fact a chill session. I'm cool back. If you want something more, go over to Discovery, because some stuff I don't be liking. I had a conversation about that the other day, and the arguments that come with that. Because people be thinking you're up under a spell or deeply highly cursed because you have a different sexuality than them. In place of them not wanting to understand, know, and recognize on observation day, observance day, or whatever you want to call it, without it even being that day, because even that day is in fact spread across every day, right? Awareness of how people are not the same as you, and the put downs and all that, and how people sometimes be bullied to death because of their sexuality, and you're not knowing about that sort of thing. Religion. All the days that I used to spend years going off even on social media about religious people and how they take it too far and too deep with the judgment. Yes, we all can be judgmental. I, in fact, judge serial killers, and I should, right? But people that don't have the same sexuality as you, sometimes those people are not bringing fatal attraction or anything to your own world, such as them killing you dead or knocking you dead just because they're gay or not of a same sexuality as you. I misunderstand that. You got Matthew Shepard, him being put to death. I don't understand that. That's like a petty, low life mindset or something, to want somebody dead or want somebody to be cast at the hill and all the rest because they're gay or because they're bisexual. It's like you fear those type of people and you're just not saying it. You're just covering and trying to point in the direction of saying, well, a Whitney Houston was the devil, or you, the individual sitting there talking about Whitney, are the devil because you don't match my sexuality. That's not true. Because we all here to teach one another something. Who don't know that type of thing? People that don't know that type of thing need to come up out of the small mindset. It took me forever in the day to make this video about this woman. That's sad in itself. How many times I was asked about, well, when you gonna make it? Well, I'm finally making it, but I might make another part 2, part 3, and part 4 because this it don't even feel right me sitting here talking in relation to, they say some stuff you should not tell everything that's on your mind, right? About what you think, feel, sense, and believe about people, right? But I'm like one of them type of people that do, because in the end I'm gonna die anyway, so what's the point, right? We all gonna die anyway, so what's the point, right? People well, don't do this, and don't do that because there could be shame. Well, it is what it is. I'm shamed every day just because I ain't straight in the sexuality department, so what's the point? Getting it done and over with. So yes, outside of me speaking in relation to what I just did, the sexuality and all the rest, what could have been Whitney's secret struggles? I want you, the viewer, to tell me. Leave it in the comment section. What do you think and believe? That's for even individuals, once again, that don't practice this sort of thing. Once again, it just helps. I'm saying this because it helps to keep a healthy mindset in life. And the reason why I'm saying that, because sometimes even life can trip you up and make you into friends with individuals you never thought you would have become one with. Teams of people and all the rest. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to become one with. See what I'm going with this? I would have never thought I would have been with the OWN network. Yes, up under Discovery Communications, Discovery Inc. I would never thought the individuals would have came into my world. Janet Jackson in the lane of that as well. You see I got the hat on pertaining to even her teams of people and fans and supporters and all the rest. You don't never know who you're going to come across, even in the area of sexual orientation. Say somebody, you bump into somebody randomly out on the street and y'all become cool and y'all vibe cool, and you say, well, man, that dude is cool, or man, that chick is cool. Like, we get along real good. I don't agree with their sexuality, but I just like the person. You don't never know. Asia Sharon, her being one of those individuals when I've been known to bash pretty girls about, yes, them needing to use their brain more so than putting on the hair and makeup. Not her, no, because she was sick. But other individuals, other females, I would not have ever thought. Yes, in fact, yes, in relation to pretty girls, have been known to, yeah, bump into them in wild ways with that. But, and how I have been known to talk and slander those type of individuals because of me wanting them to be more strong and less of being, say, crybabies. No, not Asia Sharon. No, or not Asia Sharon. Not speaking about her, but other pretty girls where they just want to put on hair and makeup and not use their brain. I've been known, yes, to speak to them somewhat harshly, right? And yet, once again, from the young age growing up, who would have ever thought some of those real pretty girls I would have crossed paths with? You just don't never know. And even her, before she died, who would have ever known I would have crossed paths with even her, right? And so it's the same for straight people that many of them, in fact, put down or dislike and hate gay people or the LGBTQT. I like to say LGBTQT because it sounds like a cutie at the end. That's why I always say that, LGBTQT, right? You don't ever know if you're straight who you're gonna meet along the way that's like that. You never even know, because sometimes you can bash people, right, and go on and on and on, like, well, I hate this person's sexuality and I hate that, the fact that such and such is a fag and a queer and all this, and then come to find out one of your blood relatives or something come out in the family, and it could be a brother or a sister. You just don't never know with that sort of thing. You don't never know. And I'm not one to keep quiet about that for the simple fact people are being killed. You got Muslims over in the Middle East and all the rest that they're being killed. Arabs over there, yeah. I think they should be using that for individuals that kill people, the hanging and all that. and not just be killing, you know, people that's a different sexuality. But going back to what I was saying, I had to say that in relation to friendships and all that, because you don't know who you're going to meet along the way in life. Somebody can be very, very totally different, as in the opposite of you, and you can form kinship with even that, and then not know it's coming, and then say, well, you find out, well, I don't agree with that, but man, we so cool. You just don't know. So yes, once again, let me rewind back. Seeming I got out of place, and I should. I think the universe wanted me to say that. To keep it calm, collective, and cool. But what could have been Whitney's secret struggles? I'm asking this because, once again, it's been stated Whitney was known to use forms of drugs before becoming a world-renowned celebrity. And yet, what could have contributed to the drug abuse she so struggled with? Could it have been a molestation situation that went on? Dionne Warwick, yes, played. No, she didn't do that. But yes, you have individuals who have, you have sisters in the family, you have brothers in the family, you have cousins in the family, you have molestation in the family, right? Sometimes people have been molested more than one time, yes, by various individuals, right? And so that's why me taking the time to ask that sort of question, even in relation to a Whitney Houston. I myself have never been molested, right? But you do have women that have. And so to grow older is to, in fact, turn to other females for the comforting and all the rest, right? Because I remember the childhood memories of Whitney Houston when I go back. How you had your first crush, right? You go all the way back to The Bodyguard. When I go back and I think that far, I was just in Walmart the other day and I saw the album The Bodyguard. I in fact have it. But sometimes, like, even in the past, I used to buy duplicate copies. And I was going to buy that. And I was like, nah, let me not get it. Because I don't know. It's something about Whitney that her face. The beauty and wonder and shine appeal. Even when she was, yes, messed up on drugs. Just because she was on drugs don't mean that she was really devalued or all the rest. Because she had a good, kind heart, good nature, right? As in she would do a lot for other people that even the public didn't know about. Go ask Faith Evans. She will tell you that to your face. Many of people will that were in the industry. Whitney was known to, yes, out of the kindness of her heart, do a lot of things for people. She wasn't just there for, say, a fame purpose and being showboating and all. Yeah. No, that wasn't her, which is why many individuals were in fact heartbroken of her, yes, being taken from the world so soon. Because they like, if she could be so caring, loving, and good-hearted in nature, and yet the public wasn't allowed to see that, why could life be so fair to take her so soon, right? But yeah, going back, even that, the drug usage and all the rest, I keep getting off a track. Yes, I know, and yet I'm chilling. This isn't my chill session. With discovery there or not. It's kind of a chill session off topic, right? And yet it in fact involves a piece of my world heart. Whitney Houston. So the molestation, I'm thinking some of that had to have triggered some of the drug usage, because once again, to be a young child and say another woman, say in the family of all, take advantage of you, is to say, how are you going to deal with that? You're being a young child, and then it's a blood family member in the family that has molested you, right? How do you deal with that, knowing that your mother has been known to sing gospel and be all tied and strong in the world of gospel? How do you deal with that? Because see, even Whitney and Robin's relationship was always in question. And I know in relation to, in the opening of my video, I had to state that how major record labels would in fact brand you a certain way so that they can sell you. And a lot of times if you're in a love relationship, say as lesbian or gay, that can't be there. You might in fact have to place a man there side by side with a woman to make even that appear more real, right? And then if you're in a lesbian relationship, is to move that other woman, the love of your life woman, out of your world and put her to the side and have, yes, a man like a Bobby Brown or somebody stand there, right? Labels do that sort of thing, right? And so you have to question even the power struggle with even that, the internal power struggle on the own end of, say, a Whitney, and the dealing with that. And even before, because I keep going back to the religion because it plays a lot in that, more so with her mother. Yes, Sissy, to be exact, because you never know how the conversations was at even a young age of even a Whitney Houston in her mother's household, and her possibly not agreeing with that sort of thing. The love affair and all the twist and turn with even a Robin, yes, and a Whitney. Mothers oftentimes don't agree with that. They think it's sickness and this illness with that or something, or curse, or sent by the devil, or unbecoming to the family, and it should be put away, hidden away, right? I always just sense and believe that too more than likely is what killed Whitney faster than anything. That religion. That's like the third or fourth or fifth time I done said that. That's not to put down nobody's religion. No, I'm speaking on how you raise a household, and how sometimes you can put people down secretly, and that's not to say her mother did that sort of thing. No. Sometimes even family members put you down and not loving you with it, using the Bible to beat you over the head. That's a no-go. You can break somebody's spirit all the way down with religion term, because what it make it seem like is you're stepping in God's place with the Bible and not letting God decide or figure out how a Whitney Houston or even myself or other individuals like this should be. People, in fact, try to play God. Sometimes parents try to play God and they kill their child's self-esteem all the way down that kids get hooked on drugs. So, I question that. And I also question in relation to the partying and party scenes and all that, because there's much that the industry know about Whitney, and I'm not going to even speak about that. But let me use my, instead of using her name, let me use myself for an example, to not put her out there all like that, Whitney, what hasn't been put out to public. But say, for example, people used to, in fact, see me at the gay clubs. They, in fact, did in my city, hometown, see me at the gay clubs partying it up, right? Yeah, that sort of thing, right? And so it's like, if you're that type of individual and say you're fully in a closet and say your parent don't really know and you're trying to keep it hidden, and yet other people see or find out, and then they go back and tell your mother, you don't even know, man. You don't know about people's world and people's life. You don't ever know if Whitney was ever kicked out at any time while she was living in her parents' home when she was younger, and how long the gayness, not how long the gay, because people be, in fact, born gay, right? Not everybody turns gay, right? It, in fact, be inborn for various individuals, right? So you don't know, when I say you don't know how long the gayness has been there for Whitney Houston, I'm saying that you don't know how long Whitney herself had confronted her own end. How you look in the mirror and you shine back with reflection and you see yourself, that's in fact what you are, as in you truly are, and then you might try to hide it from your deeply religious parents, right? That's the question. When did the drug usage start, or was it just more so partying? When I mentioned about me being seen at gay clubs and gay bars, and I would still even go today, and yet I don't, right? I prefer to chill at home. But for celebrities, some of them have in fact, yes, been seen and witnessed coming in and out of gay clubs and even partying in some, right? And so, with me saying that, because sometimes even drug usage even starts there. When you're out club partying, it starts as a recreational usage, and then later come to find out you get hooked on it because you like using it to begin with, and then once boredom sets in, as in you're just flopping around the house or whatever, going about your day, you want to escape real life over time. That's how you get hooked on it. And yet sometimes trauma don't always be, yes, the extent of getting you hooked on drugs. Not everybody that's hooked on drugs is on it because of trauma. And yet for Whitney, I think it was. I can guess and believe, and since it more than likely was while she was on drugs. It had to be. So, say if Whitney was alive today or before she became signed to a major label, consider that. Let me repeat it. Say if Whitney Houston was alive today in 2018 or before she became signed to a major label, such as Arista Records, right? Do you think Whitney and Robin, yes, the woman in the photo, she's adorable too, do you think they would have made a cute couple? Do you? Be honest. Leave it in the comments section. Because, see, nowhere, you can scour the net. I've been on the internet since like 1996. A very long time. I had web TV even back then. When it first came out, web TV, yes. MSN and all the rest, right? But over time periods, you can scour the net, and yet some of the stuff that I know in relation to Whitney, you don't see it online, right? And yet when I look for information, I try to see how does the public feel in the realm of public relations. Yes, and wanting to know, well, why haven't I ever seen anybody state that they think Whitney and Robin would have been a cute couple? I have yet to see that, and yet me sitting here is to say they would have. And I don't give a fuck who gets mad about that sort of thing. I just don't. Because if she was allowed to be herself, she more likely could have been here on this earth today. More than likely. Because, see, Whitney, I don't know how many people knew that, but Whitney, yes, Houston herself, in fact, wanted to sing, but she didn't really want to be as big as she became. Who don't know that? Not many people do, not even the public. She really wasn't interested in all this ballroom dressing up and, yeah, slow dancing with all that sort of thing and putting on the shimmery and all that, carrying herself and sashaying. That really wasn't the true Whitney. That was, in fact, the branding, of course, right? And yet to be forced to get carried away in that is to say your lover is going to be stripped away from you with that. That's why she's dead, right? And yet even that was a personal choice, and yet sometimes people feel like they don't have a choice as things is taking off in a career, because if you don't have nothing else outside of singing, it's to say, what else are you going to do and what else are you going to turn to with that? Because she was known for her voice, which is why they called her the Voice, right? And so to have stardom flashing forward at you right before your very eyes, and you're walking and going into it, you being Whitney Houston, is to say, well, what to turn back to in a way, just because you love women or whatnot, and the public won't be accepting of that sort of thing, and all the rest. And then you got Bobby Brown at play with that sort of thing, and men have feelings about that, sometimes weakness with that, in which I won't speak on, and sometimes rejection come with that, as in your, yeah, being famous and your husband wanting somebody out your life and all the rest, and the detail of the story is all over the place, I know, and it should be. That represents real life as well. Because just because you marry somebody don't mean that they're gonna agree with that woman being there all the time. Because also too, depending on how masculine or manly a woman can be, and you being a Whitney Houston, is to say, sometimes a male is going to in fact be offended by that, because they feel like that woman is playing your masculine role, your manly role, like she's trying to take your place. Which is why too, sometimes, oftentimes women, because see, Robin was in fact Whitney's personal assistant. For those that are not Whitney fans big like that, that's intriguing to know. She was in fact Whitney's assistant, yes, Robin Crawford to be exact. Shouts out to Robin with that. Shouts out to the player on the game in the field with the net. Shooting hoots on top, right? But a man, yes, will feel a threat, because if you're seeing Robin in the photo, she's in fact beautiful. Yes, she is. I should have in fact placed, I might in fact make another video as a backup to this video, because Robin, yeah, before have had, yes, longer hair, and she's beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Very attractive, right? And so with that, once again, with her looking more masculine, as to say, a man is going to feel a threat with that. He just has to. Because if he looks like a man and you look like the man, it's to say, well, who's being the man? As in, who's running the situation pertaining to Whitney Houston? Is it Bobby Brown or is it Robin trying to take over? So that's, in fact, how masculine women get pushed and shoved all the way out. Yeah, with that. Not too many people know. That's a lesson. That's a complete lesson, and it's a good lesson. The signs is telling. So, let me see. The personal assistant, they were also childhood friends. Yes, we know that. Also, the best love experiences do come through friendship. The close kinship is what I'm trying to say. That's off the hook. That's a perfect match is what I'm trying to say. Because they was friends for years on end, and it's even photos of them when they were younger. I won't say little girls, but halfway, right? But to be torn apart with that. Yeah, cause a label, they wouldn't have been able to sell her like that. And in America they wouldn't, but possibly in Europe. Back in her day and age, when she first came out, hit the scene and all the rest, right? And even the relationship, even with Bobby Brown, when that came later, that wouldn't have been sold as a package. We know that. And yet in Europe, somewhere surrounding area Europe, I'm thinking that would have, yeah. Because, see, Europe has always been known to be widely accepted. That's why a lot of celebrities, in fact, go over there, love and enjoy to perform and all that. Do performances and stuff, right? Because there's a lot of practices that are, in fact, accepted that's not widespread over here, because Americans can be known to have very closed minds. In the realm of not all is created equal, right? And so, yeah, they didn't market or advertise and package her aimed at Europe. They did, and yet that would have been too much. How would that have been if Whitney Houston herself would have lived over in Europe and just lived her lifestyle out over there? She would still once again have been alive. Because, see, for the type of music she in fact made, yeah, when she came out, during the time that she came out and all the rest, right? I want to, yeah, dance with somebody and all that, right? That's in fact like dance music that even the gays love. I'm saying they would have been accepting of her, while everybody else would have been into shunning her. I'm thinking Whitney should have moved over to Europe more later in her life and lived that sort of thing out and hooked up with all the drag queens and kings and all that. Even Janet Jackson does that in today. That's how you survive longer. When stuff start dwindling down, right? And people start shaming and shunning you because you're this and you're that and you're cracked out and all that. It's to go somewhere where you're more widely accepted, and that's to go across the shore or something. Over in Europe or Tokyo or somewhere where people is going to be loving with open arms and there's a fan base or something. And not be dealing with these fickle, lame fucks, because even them, many of them are in fact in the closet and they're just not telling, pertaining to possibly not sexuality, but other things, right? That's off the hook. Yeah, cause Clive Davis with him, man, he Clive Davis, people in fact hate him and bash him. I don't, right? But he was looking at Whitney as an all-American girl, despite her being black. That's what he wanted her to be, and elaborate with all that, with the limos and yeah, the nice fine linen and all the rest, right? That's just so fucked up in itself, is what I'm trying to say. These dumb fuck losers that have closed minds is what I'm trying to say. So you're gonna let somebody's sexuality say get in the way of you enjoying a show? Are you serious? And then one of your kids come out the womb gay, and then now what? That's sad. I can't be too bothered with those type of individuals. I'm saying I go close-minded myself, as in moving away and packing away and getting away from them, because that ain't never gonna work. Life is about teaching the differences on a global sphere. So again, say if Whitney and Robin would have been given both privilege and opportunity to be in love, whether Whitney was on a major label or off of a label, how do you think both of their lives would be right now? Because I tried to think that and ponder that. How would their relationship be? Whitney and Robin. With that. If Whitney never stepped foot on the major label, yeah. How would this situation have been? And not only that, do you think Bobby Brown would have been excluded out of the picture if the story was different? Cause I could look at even her in different ways. Look at her smile. Her smile was bright, like full of life, right? Usually the ones that have the most brightest smiles be in the most pain and hurt the most and have to endure the most, which could be why they smile the most, right? But yeah, Bobby Brown, I wonder if he would have been put out the picture. It's so much stuff you can question on, even if Whitney, man. I always think like I'm guessing and thinking if she would have never step foot on a major label, she possibly might have still been smoking weed. Cause hell, even yes, her cousin Dionne Warwick, she in fact smoked weed and had been known to get in trouble for drug possession with that sort of thing. The weed itself, right? Cannabis and all the rest. But I'm thinking Whitney, if she wouldn't have been on a major label and her and Robin was together, they possibly still would be. Because see, Robin with her, she appears to be a different type of individual. I don't know. That would have been there forever, I'm saying Robin, until possibly she died or something. Robin herself, right? But with Bobby, what he had played, that's like the 4th time that I mentioned that. I don't even think he would have been in the photo op or the picture and all the rest, right? Bobby Christina, I don't know if she would have been born. See what I'm going? That is so interesting. Because you ain't gonna be able to create a baby, and that's what Christian folks feel. Not all of them when they try to slash your tires with that. Well, you can't create a baby if you like this or that. Well, yeah, we know that already. That's like common sense. Hello, ding dong, right? But Bobby Christina, she possibly wouldn't have made her way on the earth, and she possibly wouldn't have died either in the way that she did. And yet, with Whitney and her mother, I wonder what type of arguments would have been there between the two with that. I just don't think. I don't know. Because I think if Whitney, because see, I said that in one of my other videos, to have too much fame is to be able to have access to too much money, which can buy you too much drugs, which can lead to too much of an overdose, which leads to death in the end, right? That's a fatal disaster, right? But somewhere I be thinking, I don't know, that somewhere in it all, Whitney wanted to walk away from it all. And she never got the chance or the opportunity to. I can sense that in my core. Which could be too why she's dead. Because to say that you're tied to all this stuff, such as fame and all the rest, and you expect it to be this and this and that, and you want to walk away, as to say a failure can be met with that, as in your mindset. As in you're not knowing what to do with yourself next. Some people can't live with themselves with that. Well, I'm tied to fame, and it's expected for me to keep going with the shine and the presence with all the rest, and yet I kind of want to back out and back away and leave it alone, right? That was in fact Whitney Houston's life. I don't know who all in the public knew that sort of thing. Ask anybody in the industry with that. They more than likely ain't gonna speak about that. That's what secret societies is for. But yeah, that's in fact true. That's just how it happens, right? Because fame is something in which pays your bills. And to be stuck and strung out with that is to say, not only are you stuck and strung out to some bills, but you're stuck and strung out to even more drugs. And you're needing them. So to keep the shine there is to keep it turned up all the way, even the light, strobe light with that, dear Whitney, right? Come back to us. And you're being able to, handle your drug fixing situation, right? The supply and the services that go with that sort of thing, right? But Whitney, was like stuck. That's what fame does. That's off the hook. It in fact, fame doesn't, once you get that famous as a Whitney Houston, as I say, fame just don't keep increasing. No, it has a cutoff. I'm saying you can only go so far and so high in life before there's a cutoff with that sort of thing. As in, there's nowhere else to go. Some might say, well, the glass ceiling there for the women and bypassing. Well, yeah, she in fact shattered that already. And yet, where else to go? Which is how people in fact fall into a deep pit of sorrow with that. Because now they're forced to face real life and the devastation and go back even in childhood pertaining to molestation with that sort of thing. Even a Whitney Houston. To say that you can only go so far in having fame and all the rest. Yes, I in fact have a brilliant mind. Yes, I do. Say that you can have fame and only go so far with that is to say, well, what do you do next? And what do you even do in your free time? Because now in your free time, you're forced to, in fact, be Whitney Houston thinking about the disaster of real life and possibly what done happened in your childhood and all the rest. And other family problems, right? Where else to go? There's nowhere else to go much more higher. You got everything. You done had everything. You done been everywhere, right? You done traveled everywhere. That's where the deep pit of sorrow. And that's why you got all these celebrity deaths. Yes, dying. Celebrities dying the way that they do. Because they feel like they don't have nothing else to live for, right? I myself be thinking, not in relation to Whitney, but other celebrities in relation to when you feel down and hopeless and you got all this fame and don't know what to do with it. Maybe you should in fact shine on other people that need it, that don't have as much as you or something. I'm saying when you get to being hopeless because of you got fame and you can't go much more higher, right? It helps to take your fame and propel somebody else with that type of thing. Whether it's starting your own record label and signing some artists, or helping to feed some homeless and needy children or something like that, or help feed some needy families and tying in with some organization and getting them involved with that, because you can't go up anymore. So now you got to look down, yes, and do handouts with people with that sort of thing. You being a celebrity, right? Some people, they don't even think. They lose all hope with even that. As in them not being able to trace and find a hope and seeing a way even out of that. Because to be deep in the pit is to say, well, I would have never thought Michael would have died. Luther Vandross would have died. Whitney Houston would have died. Prince would have died. Aaliyah would have died. Because with all that is to say, well, who's the replacement? Didn't I speak about that on Suge Knight video that I made? Well, who's the replacement? Who? And yet all these new people can never really be a replacement. I'm saying I love Justin Bieber, but he would never be Michael Jackson. Let's just be honest with that. I do. I love Chris Brown as well, and yet once again, he will never be Michael Jackson either. Because there was only one. Same with Whitney Houston. That's not to say anything towards Miss Hudson over there. Yeah, Holiday Hudson, one of the two in between, right? I don't even know. But in relation to singing and ballads and all the rest, what Clive Davis tried to do in the repackaging and marketing of somebody else, yes, and branding them, with that, trying to make them more into a Whitney Houston, that sort of thing just don't happen because there was only one, right? Record labels are always trying to repackage somebody else after a celebrity has died, and passed away, faded away, right? But it don't work. I'm saying for people like us who have watched these individuals, that sort of thing don't work, which is why I just turn the radio off when I see it coming. The younger generation, some of them that be trying to put on shows and all the acts with that sort of thing, trying to be Whitney Houston, that don't really work for me. That's not to slap nobody in the face or nothing with that, but it's the truth. Why not be honest and state the truth? It would only be one Whitney is what I'm trying to say. That don't even work. That type of stuff don't work. Because yeah, it just don't. Nobody had the style and the grace. Because see, even for her to be from Jersey and her be all hood, like how sometimes I can be hood, that's just your natural because that's where you come from. Helps to never forget where you come from. And Whitney had that Jersey vibe to her, right? It's to say it's interesting how hood she was, and yet she could carry that elegant vibe. The elegance with the dresses, despite her not wanting to. The formal, you have formal wear and all the rest with that, right? I was going to say bridal dresses. That's funny. Stuff like that, yeah. But she carried it off very well. What some people from the hood might not have. They might have been trying to flip over tables in the dress to stab somebody in the wound and all the rest based upon somebody that done said something in mass media. Or said something about them in mass media, and yet Whitney, she wasn't that way. She tried to keep it off the camera, right? So she did pull it off real good with that sort of thing, but I don't know. I just and it's so interesting because I in fact used to listen to a lot of music. I got everybody on my iPod. I do, right? I got that 500 gigabyte old school iPod classic, the silver where you can get your name inscribed on the back, right? Everybody is on there. I got heavy metal on there, yeah. I got old school hip hop classics on there. I got R&B. I got country music. I in fact got Johnny Cash on there for y'all that don't know who that is. The Rambler, that album, The Rambler. I got him on there, yes. Bonnie Raitt. I got Eric Clapton. I got all type of people on my iPod. And yet reggae, I got reggae as well, right? I got, yeah, gospel music. I don't really listen to a whole lot of, but it's in fact there, right? Mary Mary, I listen to a lot of them. I in fact do. Mary Mary, they go hard, right? But yeah, it just music is not, it's not the same. The formula is not the same. It's more robotic how I like it, right? But for, I don't know, for the hip hop, I prefer for it to have samples. Hip hop, I do. The R&B, sometimes it can get overboard robotic. And yet I listen to a lot of soulful house music. I listen to trance music and all the rest. But sometimes when you hear that type of music, like the hip hop with the soul or the R&B, you in fact want to hear the soul of the soul. If it's in the form of you're trying to sing it like Whitney Houston, I want to hear it like that. And yet a lot of times it's not there. So I don't even listen. I don't even pay attention. A lot of times I don't even really be knowing who is in fact on the radio all like that because I don't really have an interest. Not anymore, no. The interest, yes, in the music department has been gone and laid to rest with that sort of thing because the soul is lacking. And not only that, things is becoming too homogeneous. I was going to say, yeah, I should in fact say homogeneous. I should say it like that and leave it like that since I'm a genius and a homo, as some would call me, right? And yet that's when things, that's not the real term for it. I'm in fact using it out of context and mean how I'm pronouncing it. But that's when things become too similar in society and nobody wants to be to set the pace of the difference. Nobody wants to be different. They all want to be the same. That's where it's even going in relation to mass media marketing pertaining to album sales and record deals and all the rest. You want to have 20 different singers all sound the same and singing the same song, and then you listen to the radio and the same song just went off after 20 songs before it sounded just like this same song that's playing. I don't really have interest in that type of thing. I have interest for my love up above. My love. But for many of the other individuals, not so much. So I might do news reporting and all the rest, but that's not to say I have love and passion for the music and the album sales in which they're putting out and completing and all the rest. No, I don't. The honesty. I'm saying. Because, see, a lot of the music that's put out, it's not like in the form of fashion of how Whitney was, no, with the soul and all the rest. A lot of this music that's put out is like weekend music. Weekend music. Back in our day in the 90s, you had variety pertaining to what it you wanted to snack on and eat. You could at least have a full course meal. And then if you wanted a snack or some weekend music or something like that in relation to music, that's what I'm speaking on when I say the snack and the full course meal. You had the variety there, steamy vegetables. If you wanted some meat and some hot sauce, you had that too in the form of music, right? Skittles and non-laters as in the junk food music, right? You had all that, right? And yet this music today, when I say weekend music, party music, that's all you hear. You don't really hear the ballads all like that. You don't hear stuff in it. I want to hear the stuff stylized in exchange of Luther Vandross, right? And people might feel, well, those times are in fact played out. Well, maybe so. But I like that type of stuff. The old school soul, because it makes you feel good. And not only that, it makes you feel spiritual without church being there. And yet you can take it to church. Yes, you can. Even in your own bedroom. Right? Yes, you can. Depending on how you perceive situations and all the rest, right? But yeah, I can't really get into the new sounds of today. I was gonna say a handyman. I'm not a handyman, but I could be on my iPod in relation to what I want to hear. I'm like one of them type of people that like to decide. I like to make up my own mind, as in I like to be an individual who has my own thoughts and my own opinions and ways of seeing things, as well as I don't like people to tell me what I need to watch on the TV as well as what I need to hear on the radio. Or even when I'm getting online, right? I can do that, tell people sometimes, well, you need to do this and this and that. But I don't like when a majority of people tell me that. I like to do stuff what I like to do. So when I get online, I might in fact go on YouTube and watch what I want to watch. I might do that on the phone. I might in fact go on Spotify. I might go on Pandora and listen and watch what I want to, right? And not do that because a majority of people are doing it. No. That's not gonna work, because that'll in fact strip me from individuality. That strips you from individuality. Just listening to somebody like Major Beyonce, I just use her for an example, Beyonce. Yeah, just listening to her because everybody else is listening to Cardi B. She's cool, right? But I don't want to just do that because everybody else is doing it. No, I want to have my own personal flow and style. As in, I listen to the group, The Internet. You ever heard of The Internet? I might in fact want to listen to them. I might in fact want to listen to Sade, right? I might in fact want to listen to some independent artists that nobody has ever heard or signed before. I like doing that sort of thing. Even house music where people never listened to before. I like to stay outside of the box without going in it. Because that ain't gonna, you're not gonna have me closed in and shut out with even that sort of thing. Allow me to make my way with that. That's so sad. Whitney Houston needs to in fact come back and make a great impression. Or something the more with that. And get rid of some of these losers that think they flopping around on stage actually doing something. Look at her face. You could tell she was sweet with the delight with that. That's just messed up. I'd be like, man. I know Britney Spears all the time try to be Janet Jackson. I know that sort of thing. She does it every single day. Britney Spears. There's many of them. Justin Bieber trying to be Michael Jackson and all the rest. The branding department with that, right? There's only one. So therefore, if I'm going to watch one, if I'm going to watch somebody, I might as well watch the originator. You see what I'm saying? I can't be on looking at TV and there's 50 different people that all trying to do the same or what somebody. I can't do that. I might as well just look at whoever the originator is. So if Michael Jackson is dead, I might as well just go watch him. And Chris Brown, I might not need to watch, but I can in fact listen to him, because even him and Michael Jackson don't have the same voice. Their voices are different, right? They just dance the same with some of those same style, right? So I'll bypass a Chris Brown and just watch Michael Jackson old stuff. With that, Whitney Houston the same. Because as time go on, there's going to be more kids out here that's going to be able to sing, whistle, and blow, and possibly yodel and all the rest. And they're going to, in fact, want to be the new Whitney. And yet, more than likely, that's going to be a tragedy on my own eyes, as in me not wanting to even see it. Because that's not gonna work. I'm not trying to push out the hopelessness and blow out the candle on the kids. No. But once again, it's only one. So I think that's all to be said. But yeah, that's off the hook though. How in the dream, when I seen Whitney before she died, I in fact seen her in the dream before she died, right? That's completely off the hook. It was like the whole bathroom was lit up and it was warm in the bathroom. I told my mom about that dream. And then next thing you know, she died. That is so weird, because even I had a dream like that even about Aaliyah before she died. That's so weird. The industry kinship and all the rest. How you're spiritually tied to people, for those that want to know or don't want to know. And those that don't care that even spirit is real, with or without religion. I said that 2 times. It in fact is. But yeah, I think that's all to be said for now. Everything I said with the twist and turn on this video possibly didn't make sense, and yet it should, because this is all human life, real life, and lives are being lost every day because people just can't live and breathe as themselves. You got people that go hide out because they feel like they're being shamed and shunned. How sad is that? You go hide somewhere because you feel like you're being shamed and shunned, while everybody else is being a dumb fuck disaster, right? And you go hide out with all that, right? And then you waste away your life with that, just hiding out, right? Why people do dumb fuck loser stuff. It just helps to be yourself, right? Whoever don't like me with that can fuck off. And a tweet right that, as in some tweeters, I'm saying. It helps to impose harmony in the closing, is what I'm trying to say. For those that bypass the joke, what is she talking about? I don't get into that type of stuff. I might crack my jokes about the fags, the gay guy, they gay guys that in fact call themselves that, and they introduce themselves to me with that type of terminology, right? I might crack jokes about that, or the LGBTQ community, but to be disowning somebody all like that, no. Because that's hurt feelings. My thing is, how would you feel if somebody did that to you because you're a closeted whatever, or you're out or whatever, or the church is disowning you? That's a hurtful thing. Some people go kill themselves because of that, which is why I don't get into it. I get into acceptance. So that's all to be said for that. Shouts out to Lieutenant Joe Kenda. I'm gonna more likely make another Whitney Houston video. I just wanted to post this as a random thought, as in to say the video has been made. I'm gonna post another one another time. I said that 5 times. It's coming. Something more heartfelt and touching than this one. This one was halfway there and yet not enough, right? You don't want to be crying on the camera, or possibly so, right? So shouts out to Lieutenant Joe Kenda, my homie, my dude. You know what's good, right? Recommended for you, American Monster. You can click right here to add to favorites. Yes, the description sits right here. Oh, we got Bill Cosby on the way. Yes, we in fact do, pertaining to the jail cell and all the repercussion with that. I'm almost down to it. Just hold on for a minute. The Perfect Murder, Twisted Sisters, Blood Relatives, Red Rum, ID Now. Unlocked episodes. See what I was saying? Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, an American Scandal. You can, in fact, it says, take a look deep inside the secret life of this comedy legend. With exclusive interviews and inside details, we uncover, shocking family drama. And they're going to examine. We're going to examine. Discovery and I all being one. I'm saying they because I have divided teams, own network team. I serve with that. And then you have, everything is divided. HGTV, baby, Animal Planet, all this stuff is branding pertaining to who's doing what. So the twist of wording, they and I and all the rest is all together, but always remember there's teams in the division with that division department. Each department helps to sell with the branding approach, right? Yes, on the case with Paula, shouts out to Paula. In Plain Sight, Twisted Sisters, What Lies Beneath, To Catch a Killer. Twisted. Also in relation to the reason why I say they too is because the writers. For each writer on each team is to say they're doing different deeds and selling with the branding, right? And that sort of thing has to, yes, in fact, stay divided as well. Right. Truly. Deadline, Crime with Tamron Hall. I needed to say that because sometimes people, in fact, look at Discovery and say, well, ooh, it's Discovery, right? And they think they're speaking on the Discovery Channel, or they think they're speaking on something else in relation to Animal Planet or something like that. And yet all this stuff has to stay divided. It just has to be categorized with people being divided, with the castle and the empire being built with that. Keeping stuff organized properly and having writers over here and some over here and some over there. Because, yeah, the writers is going to, in fact, be different for each thing, too. That's good information for me to put that out there for your awareness, the viewer. To sign in with the provider, yours to be exact is to get in right here with the key. Get on the other side to access. What lies beneath, the devil speaks. Those two, yes, I did that as a run-on sentence. Did you catch what I just said? This was on all last night. Ooh, some new for you. You want to rediscover, or do you? If I block this out somewhere right here, I could say red discover because my glove is red. Red discover, or rediscover, however you like to say it. I like red discover because the blood matched the DNA, right? But yes, unlock episodes, unlock series right here. Stalked. Someone's watching. Are they or are they not? Who the bleep did I marry? Wise with Knives. Oh, didn't I speak about that in relation to, was it Angelina Jolie some weeks back or something like that? ID original series. You can swing through with that. The curtain is wide open or possibly closed. Who knows? Donations support the Save the Children's Hurricane Effort Relief. You can donate here by clicking donate here. Cosby is in the Cosby crime feed. I said the Cosby crime feed, possibly because he need his own crime feed. But yes, the crime feed itself is not Cosby crime feed, no. To click this is to, in fact, be directed on the outside to the crimefeed.com. Man, that looks like pudding on his face. Interesting how you look like a baby when you're a baby, then when you grow up all soon and put together, as in when you get old, you look just like a baby all over again, and you're back in diapers. That's off the hook. To get a newsletter is to, in fact, type your email in and click next, and you would, in fact, be directed. Yes, with that sort of thing, as in you're not going anywhere, you're possibly sitting still, and yeah, investigation discovery sending you a newsletter, and you're doing that sort of thing. So I think that's all to be said for now. I just wanted to say what I felt in this chill session moment. I like to have chill sessions where I ain't gotta be completely on. Being on, where you just have to make sure you say everything this way and all that and all clearly thought out. Sometimes I just don't be on that type of stuff. I just don't. Real stay real all day. So enjoy your day. I'ma enjoy mine, and I'm gone. Yeah.